Hello and welcome to Kent Tonight live on KMTV. I'm Keelan Webster. Your top stories on Friday the 2nd of February. Devastation for Kent's history. Thousands of priceless artefacts stolen in Canterbury.
These people have stolen, not from Canterbury Archaeological Trust, but from the people of Canterbury, and they're of national importance, some of the objects.
It's World Cancer Day at the weekend. Hear from a Gravesend physio as he talks about his battle with the disease.
It's certainly been something that has defined my life in a way, but it hasn't defined me as a person. I'm still Andy the physio, Andy the father.
And in sport, the outdoor hockey season returns tomorrow. We've been to Sevenoaks as they prepare for a relegation battle.
Kind of looking like it's going to be us against Canterbury for that sort of second bottom place. If we can try and reel in Brooklands, then even better.
But first tonight, thieves have stolen more than 1,500 priceless and irreplaceable historic artefacts from a charity in Canterbury. The items that date back to the Iron Age were taken from a shop used by the Canterbury Archaeological Trust during nighttime raids last week. The charity's been collecting the precious relics for more than 40 years from digs across the city. Our reporter Josie Hannett's been following the story and joins me now. So Josie, what exactly has been taken?
Well, you can see from this picture here just the state that it's been left in. So there was more than 1,500 items taken. These are all historical items. The Trust has said that these are irreplaceable. They can't put an exact price on them, but they really are special items, and these range from brooches and all historical items dating back to the Iron Age. Now, we spoke to Paul Bennett, who is head of the Trust, and he says that these are not just as significant to Kent and Canterbury, but also to the nation.
All of these finds are unique in one way or another, and they're all part of our collective history, our collective property. So these people have stolen, not from Canterbury Archaeological Trust, but from the people of Canterbury, and they're of national importance, some of the objects.
Paul saying that a lot of the items are very unique, but when did this happen?
This happened from the 22nd to the 24th of January, so not long ago. These were overnight raids, and they've openly said that this has happened before. Now, it's been about 6 to 8 weeks, which they didn't notice until looking now. They've realised that things like metal and copper pipes from the building have been, the copper and metal have been taken, obviously quite valuable items, and that's just been a way of them trying to get in as well, because it's formed holes in the wall. Now, we also spoke to Paul about how it's been so much of a blow to the charity.
It's a complete disaster for us. This is Canterbury's heritage that's been ransacked. Not only have the thieves stolen lots of archaeological artefacts from the Whitefriars excavations and from excavations as far away as Sittingbourne, but they've also violated our education archive, where we have cat kits and cat boxes that are used for schools work.
Well, police have launched an urgent appeal. I'm sure we have more on this in the next week or so. Josie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next tonight, there are more than 6,000 cancer cases diagnosed per year in Kent. That's according to Cancer Research UK. For those with terminal conditions in the county, Gravesend-based charity Eleanor provides care and support to those in need. With this weekend marking World Cancer Day, Cameron Tucker's been hearing the story of an Eleanor physio who has tackled the disease.
Despite regularly exercising and maintaining a healthy lifestyle, Andrew Loden was hit with what he calls a sledgehammer to the guts when he found out less than a year ago he had testicular cancer.
I did not see it coming. It wasn't even on my radar. I was lucky enough that I picked it up quite early, and I went down to the doctors and got it checked out, and 9 days later I was having my left testicle removed in an operation at the local hospital.
After undergoing chemotherapy, Andrew is now in remission. He's used his own battle with cancer to influence his role as a physio at Kent hospice charity Eleanor.
I like to try and make sure that people don't shy away from what their diagnosis is, but they don't let it completely dominate their lives. And that's what I try and say to them is, I understand that you have a terminal condition. We accept that it's going to stop you from doing certain things, but let's look at all the things you can still do. And if that be something as simple as walking from their lounge to their toilet at home, let's make sure they can keep doing that. It maintains their independence, it gives them some sense of control over their own lives, and I think if they start to lose that, then they start to lose the person they are.
As well as launching the Testicle Tuesday campaign, which encourages men to check themselves once a week, Andrew sees dozens of patients a month with the Eleanor. He's keen to ensure they're living life to the full, despite their condition.
Andrew has been pretty amazing, and it's helped with my breathing, and yeah, it's helped me a lot.
And he's quite good at getting people to do things. I think basically the main thing is that do what you can, and that is a good thing to think about. If you do what you can, you can't go far wrong.
I think the word hospice still has a lot of stigma attached to it, and rather than people thinking of it as a building that you come to die, we want it to be a building that you can come and enjoy your life and what's left of it in. And I think coming to an exercise group is much easier for people than coming to the hospice. And so that breaks that barrier, and then whilst they're here, they say, oh, actually, this is quite a nice place to be. I will stick around and have a coffee, and then start chatting and share each other's stories.
1 in 4 people will be affected by cancer in their lifetime, and Andrew and the Eleanor are among thousands of individuals and organisations who are available for support and care. Cameron Tucker, KMTV, Gravesend.
Now, Canterbury could be in the running for the UK City of Culture if councillors agree on the plans for 2025. The city lost out on the title last year when an East Kent-wide entry was beaten by Hull. So what are Canterbury's chances next time around? Harry Pete went to find out.
A busy city centre, idyllic scenery, including, of course, the famous cathedral. The city's Marlow Theatre too recently became one of the first venues outside of London to show Michael Morpurgo's Warhorse. Canterbury is full of history and culture, so ahead of the potential City of Culture bid, what's some of the favourite things for people to do?
I love to come into Canterbury for the markets, the fruit, the veg. It's, you know, the authenticity about it.
Come here to shop. We live in Hythe and we haven't really got very much there, so this is where we shop. And we also like occasionally to eat in the restaurant.
The cathedral, going around the grounds, little shops, you know, the independent shops and the little streets and alleyways and that sort of thing, yeah.
I like the shopping area, and I visit the chapel, and it's really, really nice. I really love going into the Canterbury Cathedral.
I've always lived in Canterbury, so it's always been like home to me. I love the old buildings, we love going to the cathedral together, yeah. And we're just very happy here, love the market, so we're always down here on a Friday.
So while it's heritage, it's theatres, it's shopping, it's museums, could all put big ticks in the boxes of a potential City of Culture bid. Some things, including levels of crime and increasing house prices, could replace those ticks with question marks if they aren't resolved by 2025. This month's survey showed how the city was named as one of the least affordable places to live in the whole country, with prices going up by more than £80,000 since 2007. Now, the city's Dane John Gardens is a cultural site of its own, once being the site of a Roman cemetery where the Dane John Mound still stands. Yet recently, residents have said crimes have spiralled out of control in the park, whilst drug and knife problems have prompted the area's police chief to insist he won't be allowing a turf war in the city.
A message to anybody considering carrying knives in the Canterbury area would be simply don't, because my officers will be very proactive. You will most likely be stopped and searched, and we will be arresting anybody. We take an absolute zero tolerance approach in regards to the possession of knives.
That being said, in November, Canterbury was voted the best place to live in Kent, so whether you love the place or hate it, if a culture bid was successful, it could be good news not just for Canterbury, but all of Kent. Harry Pete for KMTV in Canterbury.
Next this evening, the Met Office is considering the use of regional weather terms for forecasts. They say different regions have different meanings for the same expressions, and using regional slang terms might help people's understanding. But what weather slang do you know? We asked shoppers in Chatham.
pelting it, trucking it.
Torrential rain. Like wind, wind forecast, the tropics.
Only raining cats and dogs and nothing that you could put on the telly.
Red sky at night, shepherd's delight. Red sky in the morning, shepherd's warning.
It's raining cats and dogs. White as snow. Jack Frost is about. Cold as ice. Ice flakes. Raining hailstones.
It's been raining cats and dogs, cold this time of year. I don't like the wind,
Sunshiny.
Current buns out.
It's current buns.
Blowing a false 10, it means it's windy. Jack Frost, it's cold, taters, he's freezing. It's taters out here.
Shoppers in Chatham there. But what words do you use to describe the weather? Let us know by tweeting us with the hashtag KentSays. Still to come, we'll be live at the Tate Modern, where University of Kent students are doing a major piece of protest art, and we'll be building up to the second half of the outdoor hockey season. We've been to Sevenoaks as they prepare for a relegation battle with Canterbury. See you in a few moments. Welcome back to Kent Tonight live on KMTV. Tributes have been paid to a father who was killed in a crash on the M2. Ben Johnson from Gravesend died in the collision yesterday, where it's believed his car left the coastbound carriageway between Chatham and West Malling, flipped and then caught fire. An inquest is set to be opened into the 44-year-old's death after the crash caused closures of 3 junctions. In a heartwarming tribute, his daughter Lauren Bonner said her heart was broken and his death had left a hole in her life that will never be filled. A man's been sent to a young offenders institute for 8 years after raping a girl on Margate Beach. Oliver Cooper, who's 20, attacked his victim on the seafront, ignoring her pleas to stop, and placed his hand around her throat to stop her talking. He then walked away grinning. The judge told how police discovered in the days leading up to the attack Cooper had been looking at a particular type of forced sexual activity on the internet. Cooper was found not guilty of 3 other counts of rape, including 2 against a second alleged victim. Don't forget that you can keep up to date on all things going on in Kent by visiting our website, kmtv.co.uk. You can check out some of our latest stories from across the county, like this video about a petition to stop the relocation of a Rochester coach park.
After a massive public response, Rochester's coach park is not going to be relocated to a picturesque riverside location. Councillors had suggested that following the closure of the existing depot in Gashouse Road, it could be moved to Esplanade Gardens, with up to 40 coaches there at any one time. It's being closed to make way for a school as part of the Rochester Riverside Regeneration Scheme. But after more than 2,000 people signed an online petition opposing it, it seems that Medway councillors have had a change of heart. Ward Councillor Stuart Tranter raised his concerns with the council leader.
Almost immediately I saw it was on a list and it was technically favoured. I brought it. I thought, you know, this is public space. I want to know what the community in Medway think about this idea. So I got it out there straight away to get opinions. I expected people to feel strongly. I'm actually rather overwhelmed with the amount of response that's come back. I believe to the local community, of all the green sites there could be, this is almost like sacred ground. It is so special, it is so important to everybody here, and of course it is, you know, one of the, you know, in town centres we don't have large green spaces. We really got to use them very wisely, and right by the river as well. So many future opportunities of other things we could do with this space for the community.
In the short space of time I've been in the Esplanade Park, I've seen people running, I've seen people walking their dogs, I've seen even children playing on the swings and people exercising. And it's no surprise that there's obviously so much public outcry to the thought of losing this one park. But thankfully, it sounds as if it's now safe. The latest is that at a meeting they agreed that whilst the gardens was practical, it was never going to be a good use of the space and has since been rejected as even a possibility.
We got together last night. I got together with a group of colleagues, the leader, in one of our scheduled meetings, and during that discussion, it was said, look, we have to. We've agreed that this is not going to be a good site. To be fair, it never even actually got to being a firm proposal anyway. But we had to take it off the list.
Residents of Borstal and Rochester can now rest easy, knowing their view of the river will not be lost just yet. This is Poppy Jeffrey for KMTV in Rochester.
Sport now, and the hockey season returns at the weekend with Sevenoaks and Canterbury set for a relegation tussle during the remainder of the campaign. Both teams have 4 points, with nearest challengers Brooklands 6 points adrift. The bottom side will go down, whilst ninth place will live to fight another day in a promotion playoff. Louisa Britton has more.
They may be one of the longest running clubs in the England Hockey League, but it's been a long old slog for Sevenoaks in their first season in the country's top tier. The West Kent side sits second from bottom in the Premier Division, equal on points with Canterbury down in 10th. After last season's promotion high, the club's leadership admits to a gulf in quality.
You get punished at Premier League for basic turnovers and basic mistakes where you perhaps
have a little bit more leniency in the lower conferences, and we just got exploited.
Last year we were always the team that was pushing the tempo and always the team that was bringing the pace to the game. I think this year, you know, halfway through the first fixture, I think a few of us were looking at each other going like, wow, it's quick out there. And you know, that just carries on, and I think just the extra level of quality, you know, when you're playing against internationals most weeks, you know, they don't make mistakes, and if they do, it's in the right areas of the pitch and they don't get punished, and when you make mistakes they really punish you. I think that's the key thing.
Looking towards that second half of the season, Sevenoaks will be looking to bring it back to basics in order to secure survival in the Premier Division, which begins Saturday against league leaders Surbiton.
The biggest thing for us is just maintaining our game plan and not straying from that. And you look at some of our games and we definitely have sort of missed bits and pieces. We haven't been consistent, we haven't scored enough goals, and that's been the game changes, is where we've had amazing opportunities, we haven't slotted our goals away, where the opposition have. Going into the Holcombe game, it could have been a different story. Holcombe scored their goals and we didn't.
I think the biggest thing is our counter control. In the first round against Surbiton, they did score quite a few goals against us in a short period of time, so taking advantage of them, obviously thinking they're going to be a dominant side, hopefully catching them out on the counter on the break and getting in behind their defence and putting some goals on the board.
So all to play for?
You know, there's going to be some games where the international players are missing due to Commonwealth Games preparation, so you know, it depends when those games fall, when we've got the teams that have the internationals. But yeah, obviously, yeah, it'd kind of looking like it's going to be us against Canterbury for that sort of second bottom place. If we can try and reel in Brooklands, then you know, even better. But you know, they've got a nice 6-point lead on us, so yeah, I expect them to pick up some points as well. So that looks a bit more tricky.
A tough start, and with goal difference the only thing separating Sevenoaks from the bottom of the table, every point now is crucial to top flight survival. Louisa Britton, KMTV, Sevenoaks.
It's going to be a dry evening across Kent with overnight lows of 2 degrees in Tunbridge Wells. Saturday morning is looking cloudy and will stay chilly across the county with highs of 3 towards the coast. In the afternoon it's going to get slightly warmer but should stay dry with temperatures reaching 5 degrees. Sunday will see it warm up to 8 degrees in Chatham, but you can expect light showers across the whole of Kent into next week, and temperatures are set to drop again with lows of just 2 degrees on Tuesday. And finally, the University of Kent Fine Art Department are responding to their planned closure by staging a major piece of protest art at London's Tate Modern. The production School of Beginnings sees artists imagine a future without art as we know it. The production will be on show from tomorrow inside the Tate, and our reporter Cameron Tucker is there now. Cameron.
Good evening, Keelan. Yes, I'm inside the iconic London landmark, the Tate Modern, where the likes of Pablo Picasso and Georgia O'Keeffe have had their works on display. But this weekend, we'll see the University of Kent School of Music and Fine Art with their School of Beginnings project. And to tell us a little bit more about it, as the finishing touches are being put in place, is the curator Sophie Chapman and artist Adam Chosko. So, Sophie, first of all, how did the project come about?
So the Whitstable Biennale are one of Tate Exchange's founding associates. So last year we did a project here, and then we wanted to come again, and so we were working with the University of Kent School of Music and Fine Art and the Mustard Station group of students to respond to the theme of production. Yeah.
And there's obviously the finishing touches and all the starting touches rather are being put on. What are some of the installations that visitors can expect to see over the weekend?
So there's a real range of stuff. So there's lots of workshops. There's also films. We've got a film of outsourced workers in Latin America and a tally counter that everybody can register when they come in, that you can take part in a LARP where you become an artwork and you move around the Tate Modern, and you can also take part in a semaphore/yoga performance.
A lot for visitors to expect, and Adam, you're one of the artists who's got your works on display, and this obviously comes at quite a difficult time for the SMFA with the closure, and that's one of the kind of the themes that's been drawn upon.
Yeah. I'm senior lecturer in the School of Music and Fine Art, and the school comes to a close.
in September 2020. So the idea was to put together a group of people to kind of resist the idea of the erasure of that identity. So we're together as Muster Station, which is what we're working as collectively here. And it's really about the idea of what happens if you cut art from the schools, if you cut it from higher education, further education, what's going to be in museums like Tate Modern in the future. So we're setting ourselves in the future with the idea that already art has ceased to exist. Tate Modern is just purely a place that houses data. So it's a kind of apocalyptic view of the future.
So quite some difficult themes, and obviously with theatre and music and arts in the curriculum, and that being something heavily debated. This is something that is a real response to that, and something that's really exciting. How long is this exhibition on, and when can people come and see it?
Our particular aspect of it is only on this weekend, from 12 until 7 on Saturday, 12 until 6 on Sunday. And then there's a whole new organisation that comes in the next day. So it's running right the way through until July, I think.
So I must let you guys get back and start with the preparation. So all the best with it, and it all looks, it's starting off really well. As Adam was saying, you can catch it this weekend, so make sure you hit the Tate Modern this weekend.
At the Tate this evening. I'm sure it'll be even busier when the production starts tomorrow. Cameron, thank you very much indeed. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for this evening. You've been watching Kent Tonight live on KMTV. There's more news made just for Kent throughout the evening. KMTV.co.uk is the place to go to catch up on the full episode of this evening's Kent Tonight if you did miss anything. We've got the best bits from the last 7 days coming next in This Week in Kent. And of course, you can follow us on Twitter and follow our pages on Facebook. We'll see you again next week. Good night.